That's James's meal. You've seen it 1,000 times before. He's going to talk about MLK FBI. And mostly we're going to talk about this book, which is awesome. And maybe he'll talk about some of those other things too.
Yeah.
So go on and get started.
Oh, you don't want to mention the
What?
Waterfalls?
Well, that's, yeah, I do.
Okay,
Let's
so you
talk
might as
about
well
that
talk
more
about
than anything.
them. That's one's
So
got to go back to the library tomorrow.
This book is awesome. It's says it's volume 1, so it's Waterfalls in the Canadian Rockies Hikes, Waterfall Hikes in the Canadian Rockies. And this is volume 1, so this is Banff, Kananaskis, Crow's Nest, Waterton, Yoho, BC Rockies. So the photos are awesome. It says it's by Steve Tersmeet, and I would imagine that the photos are by him too, but I saw there was this photo right away. It says photo by Hannah Tersmeet. So I'm wondering, well, does she do all of them and she just get credit on the cover or what? Well, somebody's talking to us. But as you can hear, we're now attracting hawks.
Is that a hawk?
Yeah, because we've attracted so many birds by feeding them. But anyway, so maybe the hawk is saying thanks for all the food, because I mean he's eating too, right? But oh, and there's a blue jay around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you see the blue jay?
Yeah, it's the one missing.
Missing the hair, the feathers on his head?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, he looks pretty sad. But
You keep on going by.
he sounds nice though, hey?
He sounded very healthy.
He sounds healthy.
Yeah.
I showed you him earlier. You'll probably be able to see. He has no feathers on his head. I don't know what happened. Maybe he was messing with that hawk. I don't know. But I'm putting lots of food out for him, so we're hoping he'll be okay. And anyway, so one thing I wanted to mention about this, I love how it's set up, the location, driving difficulty, because that's important. This is not, I would say this is more Kananaskis country hikes than,
There's tons of them.
yeah, than like this doesn't even have, it has southern Alberta, and some of southern BC and stuff, but it doesn't have Jasper, for example.
Well, that would be in volume 2. Yeah.
I imagine so, right? And it doesn't have some other things that we've done, but it's not here. So, but yeah, sometimes it might not be very far from the trailhead, but you might be driving on a logging road that's really awful, and we've experienced some where it's like, oh, I don't know if I ever want to go back there again, right? I don't know if my back can handle it. So,
I know my back couldn't handle
yeah.
the trip to Monkman Park, for example.
Yeah, so anyway, there's that. And one thing that we noticed is it's not complete. Even though there's so many awesome waterfall hikes in this, and everyone who likes waterfalls and likes hiking in Alberta. So everyone who lives in Alberta should want to get this book out of the library at least. Maybe buy it. But I don't like the maps. The maps are hand-drawn.
The maps
and
could
really
be better.
pathetic.
The ones in, well, actually, they're artistically done and stuff.
Okay.
And I like the way they have the. This one isn't that good, but flip back. They'll have a little picture of the, well, not here either, but a picture of the falls. Sometimes the mountains outlines are given
When
there.
you're showing mountain hikes, you have to have the ISO lines. You have to. It's essential. You have to know how. That tells you how steep the climb is. So these maps are useless. As far as I can see, they're maybe Steve Tersmeet's child drew them. I'm not sure, but they're not good enough.
Well,
you have to do a revised edition and get some real maps, because this is not adequate.
They do show you where the trailheads are and stuff like that, and where the.
I love the book, and James is feeling bad that I'm saying this because he loves the book too, but it's true.
Second edition
it's
tried
true.
to do what Andrew Nagara puts in his things.
Yeah. So
the contour lines.
anyway,
It's an awesome book, though.
it is an awesome book.
Comes highly recommended, even if you want
Very
to buy
much.
it. I say that very rarely. Very,
Yes,
very
highly
rarely.
recommended, even if you want to buy it. Yes. And I mean, it's only $25, the price on the back. This is awesome. So, anyway, what I was going to say is I was looking through the Waterton hikes at the Waterton Falls, and I'm like, this is not complete.
No, it's not.
So, I mean, even with so many falls that have been featured in this book, they're not all here. And there's some that, like James was pointing out, a falls in Yoho that I couldn't stand. It was useless. It was junk.
It's Hamilton Falls, so there are ones in Waterton that
Are way
better
than that,
like-
and they're not listed. So Goat
Goat
Lake.
Creek,
Yeah.
Goat Lake
Go on the
outlet.
Goat Lake hike, and that. I
There
mean,
are-
you see the falls. It falls down, and then it goes falls,
on and
and
on.
then it's a big falls, big drop, and it's awesome. Why isn't it listed? It's awesome.
It'd be
and
well, it's
there's-
the access isn't as good. Hamilton
Blackiston Falls are listed, which they should be because they're awesome.
Mhm.
But you don't have the Blackiston Creek, and it falls all the way along, as far as I'm concerned. And you don't have any in Vimy, which I've pointed out. I've showed you. We went up there and I filmed it, even though we were getting bitten really badly by insects that day. But I showed you. There's lots of falls around all along that Vimy Trail, and they're not even considered to be falls. And it's like, how can you not consider this falls? And let's say he put in Bertha Falls, but there's an Upper Bertha Falls too.
Well,
which
he does.
is not in there, right?
No, he doesn't mention
Well,
it.
it's not. There's no picture for it.
Well, it's hard to
And-
get a viewpoint of it, really.
Okay.
Even now that it's been
Okay.
burned around it and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
if he's going to have a Hamilton Falls, he should have
Yeah.
the two falls on Carthew Alderson. It's that's
And
a
yeah,
real
because Carthew
trip that's worth
Alderson
it.
is amazing.
You
Everyone
get
has to do that
lots
hike.
of other things. Yeah.
It's so awesome for flowers. It's awesome for everything. And there's some awesome falls and great scenes. It's a must do. So that should have been in here. But revised edition, Steve Tersmeet, when you get the maps done professionally.
Maybe Carthew Alderson maybe Goat Creek or whatever it's called, outlet to Goat Lake. But he can only include so much. There'd be all sorts of stuff. It's just the access in Waterton is so good. The
Yeah.
driving is so good and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah. So anyway, but loved the book, loved it. So I mean, I had to find some things to criticize to say, oh, this could be better. But honestly, for $25, that's a good buy.
So I think one of the reasons why we mentioned is we're looking forward to a second edition.
Yeah.
You know? It's could be better, but like that'd almost be like bonus marks or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I mean,
We found it so
What an
useful
awesome-
for putting
yeah.
together possible trails. Is that like, are we dreaming in Technicolor? No.
No.
We can see by reading the
he's
trails that
given
we've
enough
gone.
information so that we know, okay, yeah, well, this is how he rates this one. We've already done this one, so we know.
We know he's
yeah.
trustworthy for
Exactly.
as much as you can trust
Yeah.
someone to do those sorts of things.
So James is going to go on with this stuff. I don't know
yeah,
which.
I'm going to go on and on, or as long
Okay,
as the battery
well, there
juice
you
goes.
go.
So if it clicks out, it clicks out.
Yeah.
Because we might be short of battery juice. So MLK FBI. I'm going to try and get this out again or something like that so I can do it justice. I slept through some of it. And but the basic idea is FBI or J. J. Edgar Hoover. Oh, they were really picking on Martin Luther King. Now, J. Edgar Hoover was kind of flirting around with the law, and there are all sorts of people saying he was kind of missing out on the mafia and was going, there was a red under every bed. He's looking for the commie threat. No, they don't say communist threat or a red scare or stuff like that. Hey, you're not scared of Stalin. Even if you're a commie, you're an idiot. Stalin killed his fellow commies, along with lots of people who were, I mean, he genocided Ukrainians, genocided kulaks, that's upper class peasants. When you're an upper class peasant, you're not an aristocrat. You hear that, you modern day Stalinists? I hope none of you are listening, but if you are, get lost. At any rate, yeah, so I think J. Edgar Hoover played fast and loose with the law, and wiretapping people and so on and so forth, and he was keeping tabs on politicians. Basically, it was like, from what I can tell, passive blackmail. You know, like, oh, you want to get rid of me? You know, like it'd be a tacit kind of agreement with JFK. You know, like I know all the, you know, what you've been doing with Fiddle and Faddle. I think those are a couple of secretaries with JFK. That's what his nicknames were, and so on and so forth. No, I've been messing around on Jackie and all that sort of stuff with Martin Luther King. Hey, we know you've been doing gangbangs with white women, which would really get on some people's nerves. But it's the gangbang thing, and with some of the guys in your organization, you're supposed to be a religious kind of guy, and so on and so forth. And Martin Luther King was, you know, like people are going, I don't know, you know, they think Martin Luther King was a huge hero, and yet Bill Clinton had a hard time with his fly. Bill Clinton's an awful guy. I'm talking about lefties, you know. Bill Clinton's a terrible guy. He's taking chances with his movement, you know, and stuff like that. But Martin Luther King's awesome, even though he's doing, well, gangbangs. Gee, what's going on here? I haven't heard about. We would have Bill Clinton doing this kind of stuff, you know. So yeah. People have a double standard because, so I am afraid, you know.
Well,
like,
I think, you know, it shows that the people who are claiming to be sympathetic are actually, they think less of certain people and more of other people. Like, people aren't held to the same standards or something
when
like
you do that.
When you do that, that's actually kind of
It's
racist.
patronizing,
It's
at the
awful.
very least, yeah.
So,
Patriarchally patronizing. But they don't want to see it that way. You know, like, please turn off if you're offended by what we're saying. You probably turned off an election a long time ago. But, you know, like the people that J. Edgar Hoover was going up against were the commies. And, you know, when he started off his career, it might have still been Lenin when he came to power. And Lenin was an awful guy. I mean, he's enthused enough to use it as a sound chunk, not just a sound bite, about talking about we'll be doing revolutionary terrorism. We do revolutionary terrorism. Thank you, Lenin. Thank you for telling something like the truth. You know, he didn't always tell the truth, but there he is. And, of course, for much of J. Edgar Hoover's career, he's dealing with Stalin, and he's dealing with KGB and its predecessors. Well, you know, like as Noam Chomsky says, we got to be 10 times better. Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover was 10 times better.